so let's just kind of show a few of the things that you have enabled around you.
Okay.
I'm going to zoom out just a little. So you've got the ability to get a drink of water anytime you want. This is from a handy biking sports water backpack.
Yes.
So snaked up through your wrist brace and everything.
Also known as a camelback if you want to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
Or look for the
generic version.
Generic version.
Which works just fine.
Which works just as well, if not better.
And you've got a baby monitor, basically, so Jeff can be anywhere in the house. And
yes, even outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes outside a lot, so you can carry it with him in the yard.
And then the section that you haven't really needed as much lately.
Oh, thank goodness.
And then all set up for like the lamp. Can you turn the lamp on?
Echo, turn on master bedroom lamp.
There we go. And that works for all of the rooms. There's a little fan in the corner. It'll turn the fan on. It turns the TV on. Do you want to turn on the front door camera? Can you do that?
Yeah, sure. Echo, turn on Fire TV. Echo, watch front yard.
Okay. And there's the front yard. Where's my car? Oh, it's still connecting.
Your husband left.
Oh, I can hear his voice. My car got stolen. There's my car. Okay.
Yeah.
And then your view. Jeff has you all set up with a little bird feeder. So you can see that anytime you want to, and when the puppies go outside. So Echo would turn on the fan and the lights, and you can adjust the temperature and answer the door and everything.
Yes, and most of it, or I think everything, is voice activated, and that's what Jeff's goal was with the house, was to ensure that no matter where I was in the house, that I would be able to control a lot of the devices that I normally wouldn't be able to, because I don't have the hand function or finger function or what have you. But I do have my voice.
Yes.
Still, thank you, Lord.
And the sound that we keep hearing in the background, we hear the hissing and then the gurgling. That is the inflatable bed, kind of adjusting the pressure,
Of the
firmness
mattress.
and everything.
Yeah, firmness of the mattress.
So I'm going to show this cool. When they got this house, it had this very cool shower that they still need to kind of work on a little bit, but it's just this open.
Turn on master bathroom lights. Echo. Turn on master bathroom lights.
There we go. Okay. So there's a little bit of a lip, so that would make a challenge getting a wheeled device in here. But other than that, it's just this big open shower that Jeff's going to be working on getting some tile work done and stuff. But it make it really easy to just hose her in there, roll her in there, and hose her down.
As Jeff would call it.
Yeah.
Hose her down somewhere.
So I'm not making everybody dizzy and stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's kind of, and this is the master, the ensuite, as you might say. I took a little video of us when we pulled in and walking in so everyone could see the outside of the house, because Jeff's done some amazing work with landscaping, and he's been keeping himself very busy.
Yes, he has.
And painted little white stones all around the front and everything. It looks really good.
Yeah, he keeps himself as busy as possible, which anybody that knows Jeff, he always liked to be doing things. So
Whoops,
when he's not doing something for me, which is, he does a lot for me, he does everything for me, then he's outside working in the yard, or helping, somebody, if he's called helpers, then he'll be out there with them doing it as well. He just can't hire somebody and let it be done. He's got to be out there, adding his 2 cents or throwing in his sweat as well.
So I know you've always kind of been someone that you live in the moment and you plan for the future, but live in the moment. So when this all happened a year ago, and you first like woke up and kind of had an idea of what had happened, where did you think you'd be a year later? Do you think you are where you thought you'd be? Did you think about it that much?
I honestly didn't think about it that much, but I can tell you, I never would have guessed we would be where we are now. I think we are so much further along than I would have ever guessed, especially waking up in the Dominican Republic and not having a voice. You know,
I keep forgetting that you didn't have a voice. Right?
Yeah, so for those first 5 weeks, I didn't speak. I mean, I kind of mouthed and whispered lightly, but I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a voice until the trach, they took out the ballooned trach when I was here in the States in Parkland Hospital, so.
And it was like, they only spoke Spanish in the DR. Jeff only speaks English.
Right.
So they'd have to speak in Spanish to you, and then you mouthed it, and Jeff had to read your lips.
Yes.
And oh, goodness gracious. Google Translate came in very handy.
It did in the end. It did in the end because I just got so tired that it just wasn't getting across, and I knew that it wasn't getting across because those of you that knew me before, my Spanish, I wasn't completely fluent with Spanish. I just wasn't. I lost all my Spanish whenever I was in 3rd grade, I think, before, whenever I was young, in 3rd grade. So I'd lost all my Spanish for the most part, and I knew very little. But when we were sailing, I had started trying to teach myself a little and finding a few little words, but we're also talking about Spanish that Mexicans speak, not Spanish from Mexico, not from the Dominican Republic. They speak a different dialect, and it was so much so to where I was really, it kind of took me off guard because I thought, that's not how you say tire. It's not, the way that the Dominicans say it. It's llanta, like the Mexicans say it. And yeah, so there were several different little things, but I quickly learned and I quickly adapted just because we needed to be able to speak to the locals there in the Dominican Republic, and there wasn't always someone around that could speak English. So you get into a hospital when they start speaking medical terminology, and I'm like, I have no idea what that word is. I don't know it in English. I don't know it in Spanish. So please don't try and get me to just repeat it to you, because yeah, it's definitely going to get lost in translation. So yes, Google Translation was a lifesaver back then, whenever we were still trying to figure out how to get out of the DR.
So a year ago, you didn't think that you'd be where you are now, as far as back in a house and here and all settled down and everything.
Right.
What do you think the next year holds?
Oh, that's a good question. I've always been a strong believer, so I still just give all of that to God, surrender it all to Him, and just say, wherever you have us, you have us. Whether I'm here, whether I'm not, whether I'm here with Jeff, whether we're not, what remains to be seen is still just an unknown. Because honestly, I would have never, well, Jeff and I both, and we've laughed about it, because we now, own a house, and it was like, when we were looking for houses again, it was like, we never thought we would have to look for a new home, another house. When we left Wiley, Texas, back in 2016, we figured that was it, actually we left Wiley in the end of 2015 because we lived with my mom, and that was in Garland, but nonetheless, just still leaving your own home that you paid and worked for and paid for, that's the last thing that, you would ever imagine yourself, to see yourself doing, was house shopping again, so.
But he took you with him on all of the like take a look at houses?
Yeah, definitely. Jeff and I went and we looked at all of them. He started looking online a little bit, when I was sleeping in the mornings, but if there were some that he wanted to see or anything that he wanted to go and, just kind of peek in at, then I would always go with him. So yeah, all of them we looked at together. Excuse me.
So the next year you don't?
I don't know. I don't know what the next year holds for us. I do know one thing is that it's not until July of next year that Medicare kicks in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's 25 months from the date of accident, which is crazy in itself, but it is the rule. So we're thinking, okay, July of next year, then be sporting some Medicare. So again, hopefully my insurance will be covering everything and anything we need.
So you're halfway there.
Yes, from a medical standpoint. Yeah, I'm halfway there.